got red from the blood, rose cheeks dull from the mud, hands worn through from the sludge, a self no longer begrudged, and murder is a potion of love, sacrifice devotion thereof, and he without sin never was. Now a changing of the guard has begun, a kingdom that belies the internal, is a prison of the mind that's infernal, and eternal is the lie turned plague. So I've dug this grave so my truth won't fade. I feel the war paint on my face, I feel the ground tremble and quake, I feel my heart sink to the pace that these war drums make. I feel alive and awake, and all I see is war path ahead of me. Each and every step I welcome readily, and if my lack of fear bring the death of me, let the spirits of my ancestors envelop me. So know this is that Armageddon coming, a flood that goes beyond the refuge high upon the summit. A sun become whole, black hole on consumption, spun inside itself into a beacon that is summoned. That creature of the deep that leaves a pit inside your stomach, that rumbling beneath that boat's arrival from above, and that nature of the beast that feeds upon the will to numb it. That monster brought the seed of life, and now I have become it. And I feel like I got a gun, like I've been changed more ways than one, and this whole world has just begun, and it's so nice to meet me. And I feel like I got a gun, like I've been changed more ways than one, and this whole world has just begun, and it's so nice to meet me. A self once masked by these stains, that filth washed out with the rain. When I'm done, only thing that remains is a tombstone etched with my name. Look into a face that has changed, recognize the corpse in that grave, resurrect what's lost can be saved. I am now free, once slave, and I am not a part of a game. I am not a moth to a flame, I am both man and brigade. I won't be denied or restrained, I am what the weak can obtain, I am what survives if it's slain, I am rest in peace if you aim. No, I am not built of the same. Upon a death and a rage, he said he had the truth that I crave. Then my sword through his chest I gave. Ain't no one command, I behave. Never put my faith in plans best laid, and I don't follow rules that you made. I think it's time I set this whole bitch ablaze. On the precipice of slaughter is the Lord. Angels and they demons come together with a cause, and I don't think you really know the meaning of a storm. Let this serve a lesson on the essence of reform. Hatred without focus make the eager man fall. Violence without purpose make the mighty man small. Vengeance without mercy leave the noble man flawed. And insurrection mounts behind those battle lines drawn. The future is beholden to the present moment cast, and prudence don't repeat the futile habits of the past, and courage is the
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And the video you just seen here is the military might of the Russians, who are known as the Medes according to the Bible. All right, the Lord is raising their spirit up to go fight against America because we're in a time of prophecy and we're in a time where Babylon America must be judged. So I'm going to get into a couple of articles. First, I'm going to start with this scripture just to let those that are watching know the times that we're living in. If you're just coming in tune with what's going on in the world, all right? There's the book in Psalms, chapter 7, verse 11. The Most High judges the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. Right. And who's the wicked? Well, the wicked is the so-called white man and those that follow the so-called white man, mainly our people, you so-called black, Spanish, and Native Americans. All right. The Lord is angry with the wicked. Okay. And what is the wicked? Breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, going against everything the Lord has said. Okay, that is the wicked. All right, so the Lord is angry with the wicked every day. Continuing on. If he turn not, he will whet his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. Right, the Lord, okay, has bent his bow and made it ready. For what? World War III, thermonuclear fire, ICBM missiles. Okay, verse 13. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. Right, instruments of death, once again, is the ICBM missiles. All right, as you can see in this video, all right, the Russians are capable of launching ICBMs at America at any given time today. All right, and that's what we're looking forward to if you are the man of the Lord, because you want to get out of Babylon. He ordained his arrows against his persecutors. Right, and who are the persecutors? All right, you so-called white people mainly. All right, Esau, Edom. All right, here in America. All right, you persecute the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans for far too long. And the ones that are aware of it, okay, are knowing who they are, their true identity. All right, they knowing that they're Israelites. All right, they understand they're being persecuted. So they're looking forward to you Edomites, mainly here in America, to be destroyed. Okay, and the Russians are going to do it because the Lord is raising the spirit of these Russians, man, who are known as the Medes in the Bible. All right, to launch a heavy military assault on America. Next scripture, Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Right. So this is of the Lord. The Lord created the scientists of Russia to make those ICBMs, as well as you scientists here in America, man, to make those ICBMs. Why? So that, okay, World War III can happen. All right. The Battle of Armageddon. All right. And that bringeth forth an instrument of his work. Once again, what's that instrument? Okay, that missile. Okay, with the nuclear warhead on it. And I've created the waster to destroy. Right. You were created, you so-called white people, man. Y'all were created, okay, to bring World War III to fruition so prophecy can be fulfilled, as well as destroy yourselves, man. All right. You actually, the Lord created you to kill yourself off, if you can receive it. All right. Now let me get to some news articles to show you how ready the Russians are, and how that all that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin smoke and mirror, that's all, okay, movie. That's all theater. All right. Vladimir Putin knows very well he's against America, and he will attack America when opportunity, okay, occurs. And that's when the Lord puts spirit on him to start doing to start engaging in combat with America. This is an article from Business Insider. Says Russia is ready to build a train that can carry and fire 6 nuclear missiles. Russia is apparently ready to build 2 terrifying weapons of war, a 100-ton ballistic missile, and can destroy countries, in a train that can carry and fire 6 nuclear missiles, according to Pravda, the Communist Party's outlet in Russia. The missile and train are on the level absolute readiness of the industry for the implementation should the relevant decision be made to include the projects in the state armament program, Russian Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Rogozin told Pravda. The 100-ton RS-28 Sarmat nuclear missile, or quote-unquote Satan II as NATO calls it, reportedly holds 10 warheads and is capable of destroying a country the size of France, Nukes reported. Satan II is an upgraded version of the RS-36M, which NATO called Satan in the 70s. But its production has been put off since 2014. The Russian Defense Ministry also said last week that it didn't test it until late 2017. Right, so they tested it. Okay, so they had this missile ready to go. The Barguzin trains, on the other hand, will look like passenger trains, be able to travel 1,500 miles a day and hold up to 55-ton RS-24 Yars thermonuclear ICBMs. The Barguzin train is also an upgrade of Soviet design that only carry 3 nuclear ICBMs. So you having a train that looks like a passenger train circling around the whole country of Russia, that's 1,500 miles a day. All right? Why? So that if in the event America were to do a preemptive strike, these babies will go off with ease. All right? Russia plans to test an ICBM from the Barguzin train in 2019, the National Interest Report in March, which this is a lie because Russia is not going to tell, okay, the public what they really do behind the scenes, all right? Russia has already tested their trains, their nuclear trains, okay? They have already tested it, all right? They're just now putting it out there to what? To cause confusion because Russia is engaged in their own propaganda as well, all right? Listen to this, though. The U.S. considered putting nukes on trains in the 1980s, but later scrapped the idea. Nuclear trains are beneficial in that they're mobile and difficult to locate. Exactly. All right, and that's really the key point. Mobile and difficult to locate, especially if you're going to put it on what? You're going to make it look like they're passenger trains, all right? So that's using concealment, okay? This is another article right here. It says Russian military just carried out a massive test airstrike in the West. This came from Newsweek, July 7th, 2017. Russia's westernmost forces finished a 5,000-strong drill quite literally with a bang. The drill ended with a massive practice airstrike using 4 different kinds of warplanes in a joint assault. Slovakia. State news agency Atar Taz reported Thursday, citing Russia's Western Military District. The exact number just was not given, though Su-27, Su-30SM, Su-35, and the MiG-31 units all took part, assisted by Karsaka electronic warfare units. The drill involved jamming enemy detection capabilities, thereby blindsiding the hypothetical designated opponent in a drill. All right. The practice airstrike was a response to a hypothetical attack. The statement by the military district stated a total of 2,000 units of military kit were involved in the wider exercise in an unspecified location on Russia's northwestern flank, which ended Thursday. Russia's armed forces in the northwest have pursued a visible reinforcement and uptick in activity in recent years as ties with its western neighbors has deteriorated. Russia's annexation of Crimea from Ukraine in 2014 prompted a tide of solidarity from Western powers, particularly in Russia's neighborhood Baltics, which were once part of Soviet Union. Here's the key point, a recent poll found more people in Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia feared the likelihood of war than the prospect of extremist attacks of the sort that have stuck Western capitals. Right. These countries are more afraid of Russian engagement on their country than a so-called ISIS terrorist attack, because this is where the real terror is going to be, when nations go to war against each other. And that's what we're looking forward to if you're an Israelite, all right, because that's the redemption, okay, to get out of Babylon. There's a strong support among Baltics for NATO reinforcement measures and the idea of wider Western military alliances such as European Union Army, right? That's another entity that's being wants to be built. Russia's upcoming drill with ally Belarus in the region is currently regarded as a climax in the anxiety Baltic countries have experienced, with increased intercepts of Russian warplanes near their airspace and Russian naval drills nearby this summer. Lithuania has accused Russia of stimulating an attack on NATO with the Zapad drill and has cast doubt over whether the drill will be as transparent as international agreements require. Russia has denied it will attack NATO ally, though trust between Russia and the West is a low point and have been further eroded by the Kremlin's inconsistent interpretation of events in Ukraine. So there you have it, man. The Russians are gearing up for war. The West knows it. So this whole thing with Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin is all lies, man. It's a smoke and mirror. So let's get back to the scriptures. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. Who are the Medes? The modern day Russians. Which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Right, because the Russians are nationalists. They don't care about your money, America. They don't care about your wealth that you have. All right. They're going to slaughter you all. All right. It's in the scriptures. And these current events, these articles should get you, to consider that, yeah, definitely this is going to happen. All right. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Right. When them Russians launch the missiles and invade America, they're not going to care about your children. They're not going to care about your young men. They're going to launch them intercontinental ballistics, and they're going to engage on it full throttle. Okay. On all the cities here in America. All right. And abroad, wherever America's military is at, because you have military bases throughout the world. So Russians are going to launch attacks on all your military bases in any country you're residing at, America. Verse 19, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of Chaldees, actually shall be as when God overthrew, the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And that's what we're waiting for, all right? Because America will be overthrown like Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom, right? Because America promotes homosexuality. Gomorrah, okay, transsexual, all right, all types of wicked sexual acts. I mean, it goes on and on and on how wicked this place is in America, man. All right? And the Most High said it will be overthrown like Sodom and Gomorrah. And that's how you know this Babylon is not talking about ancient Babylon. It's talking about America, which is modern day Babylon. Because when was ancient Babylon overthrown like Sodom and Gomorrah? All right? That never happened. It's talking about now. So now let's get to two more articles just to seal the deal here. Russian military power report reveals what U.S. is really worried about. Okay. Russian military kill chain, a nuclear arsenal, a network of secret tunnels beneath Moscow are among the military assets exposed in a U.S. assessment of Russian power at a key meeting between President Putin and Trump. Right. This article was written before Trump and Putin shook hands. All right. That goes to show you that Vladimir Putin is not stupid, man. First of all, he is a former KGB, which is the equivalent to the CIA, all right? The art of deception is what he's trained for, all right? The art of how to make his enemy think, all right, one way, but he's doing something else with his hidden hand, okay? So that shaking of hand with Donald retarded Trump is just smoke and mirrors, all right? He's building underground tunnels, okay? He's building his nuclear arsenal. He's getting ready for thermonuclear war. The U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency recently published Russia's military power is the first of 5 reports into what the U.S. regards as, quote, no-fail issues, including China, Iran, North Korean, and transnational terrorism, all right? So there, even the Defense Intelligence Agency knows they're up against China, Iran, North Korea. All right? So you Americans, man, you are in the last days of living it up, man. Okay? Defense Intelligence Agency Director Lieutenant General Vincent Stewart said the U.S. cannot afford to misunderstood Russian intentions given recent activity in Crimea, Ukraine, and Syria. Quote, Russia continues to modernize its extensive nuclear forces and is developing long-range precision guide conventional weapon system, he said. Right, from that video, you can see how powerful the Russians are, okay? Their technology, okay, is modernized to a point that they can compete with America and outdo America, he said. And here's the kicker for you stupid American peons, all right? You taxpayers out here. You've allowed the American government to tax you to the hill for their military, and yet Russia is able to compete with a lesser budget. So you're spending more money, and Russia's still outdoing you with the lesser budget. That's how stupid you Americans are, man. You're retarded, man. That's why the Russians are laughing at you. Quote, continue on, its ultimate deterrent is a robust nuclear force capable of conducting a mass nuclear strike on targets in the United States within minutes. Right, Satan 2. The Russians got the technology. You Americans are weak. Quote, within the next decade, an even more confident and capable Russia could emerge. And this next decade is now, all right? The Russians are ready. That's why Vladimir Putin is showing his power in the Middle East. Okay? How he's able to control the Middle East. All right? Vladimir Putin's dominated the Middle East. America, you have failed the Middle East. Okay? Vladimir Putin went into the Middle East in 2005. He's done more damage, okay, and has pushed back your rebel fighters than you have been able to do against Assad. All right? Wait, when did you start the uprising in the Middle East? In 2012? Okay? And look at, Russia came in 2015 and dominated you clowns. All right? You're weak. So this decade is lies. The United States needs to anticipate rather than react to Russian actions. Right? You're not going to anticipate. You're going to react. And what's your reaction? To be like, yep, I have a nuclear missile hitting my home. That's what you're going to react to. You're going to cry like little hoes. To Russian actions and pursue a greater awareness of Russian goals and capabilities to prevent potential conflicts. You're not going to prevent shit, man. All right? In fact, let me get the scripture to prove that. Slovakia. Jeremiah 51 verse 38. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes. Right. Who are the nations with the kings and Medes? The nations are Iran, China, all right, North Korea, and the kings and Medes are the Russians. The captains thereof and all the rulers thereof and all the land of his dominion. Verse 29. And the land shall tremble in sorrow. Right. What's the land that shall tremble in sorrow? We'll find out. For every purpose the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, that's America, to make the land Babylon desolate, a desolation without an inhabitant. Right. That's how you know this is talking about America, man. This is not talking about ancient Babylon where modern day Iraq is at, all right? People are still living there. The Arabs are still living there. They're fighting little ISIS, okay? Whether you believe the narrative, okay? Or ISIS is fighting the Iraqi army. So it's obvious that this is not talking about that Babylon. This is talking about modern day Babylon. Here in America, this place is going to be not inhabited once Russia launches them nukes. And notice it says, shall tremble in sorrow. You're going to tremble in sorrow, you Americans. All right? And that's why you so-called black spans and Native Americans, man, you need to get to know the Lord and come back to your heritage and come back to the Most High and his law, statutes, and commandments because, all right, the Russians are not playing games. They're sick and tired of America. Let's continue on. The assessment describes as a vast military power working hard to modernize to respond to a snap conflicts and reassert its position of global influence in a multipolar world. It describes the Kremlin as convinced. Look at this. This is awesome. Slovakia. It describes the Kremlin as convinced the U.S. wants to orchestrate a regime change in Russia and accuses the country of actively cooperating with China to weaken U.S. influence in the world. Okay? So, this is what the Pentagon is saying, that not only is Russia convinced that America wants to overthrow their regime, it also admits that the Pentagon believes that China is working with Russia to, weaken U.S. influence in the world. So, if you American Pentagon, you top American retards, all right, believe that, all right, what does that say about your country, man? All right, you're in a quagmire, okay? The whole world sees that you're weak. All right, your Middle East campaign has failed, so that's why China and Russia are doing exactly what you're seeing, and you're like, damn, we're screwed. Exactly, you're screwed. The assessment of Russia's nuclear arsenal, Air Force, and Navy states Russia has more than doubled military spending from $35 billion to $80 billion between 2000 and 2016. This includes a huge cyber network of pro-state media, trolls, bots, and activists to destabilize and discredit NATO and other Western powers Russia views as a threat. And you're doing the same thing to America, so, you know, don't act like you're some innocent child. You're the wicked, first of all. And you're the the pinnacle of wickedness, all right? And that's why when the Russians launch them nukes at you, it's going to be beautiful, okay? The report also shows military kill chain that runs from indication and warning to detection, track, engagement. A vast network of underground bunkers, tunnels, and secret subway lines beneath Moscow to allow the leadership to remain connected in event of war or nuclear strike is also described, right? All right? They're building underground bunkers as well as you Americans are building underground bunkers, okay? Quote, the deep underground facility at the Kremlin, an enormous underground leadership bunker adjacent to Moscow State University, are intended for the National Command Authority in wartime. They're estimated to be 200, 300 meters deep and can accommodate an estimate 10,000 people, the report says. The leadership can remain beneath Moscow, travel along the special subway lines that connect these urban facilities to their preferred deep underground command post outside the city and possibly the VIP terminal at Umvanko Airfield, 27 kilometers southwest of Kremlin, two most important underground complexes in national command. All right, so this is what the Russians already have and stored. So in the event you monkeys in America think you could do a preemptive strike, the Russians are well aware of it. All right, that's why according to the scriptures, you're not going to be able to combat against the Russians. All right, they're going to destroy you. To kingdom come. And what's the next kingdom that's coming? The kingdom of Israel. All right, that's enough on that. All right, let's get one last article. Now this is from Foreign Policy. Same article. This is just leaning more towards the Western ideology. All right, and this is how you know this is how you source your information. You bring out multiple sources saying the same thing, proving that this did happen, Slovakia, all right? Pentagon, Russian very much a threat to the United States. Pentagon report released Wednesday warns of rising military threat in Russian and says the Kremlin believes the United States is seeking regime change, an assertion that could color the already fraught relationship between the two powers, right? Same article. Same thing I just read, all right? Okay, and here's the reason why. The Kremlin is convinced the United States is laying the groundwork for regime change in Russia. The report says Moscow started worrying about Washington's hand in regime change during the so-called color revolutions in Eastern Europe in early 2000s. Russia also sees the United States as responsible for the Arab Spring revolutions of 2010 to 2011. Slovakia, this happened with in 2010 2011. So you retarded Americans, you try to overthrow Assad during this time, and you failed because now Assad is gaining ground because Russia is dominating the Middle East. And the ousting of former Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych in 2014. All right? So the Russians have been studying your pattern, America, and you are the problem. And so the Russians will nuke you. All right? And here's the reason why. Because back to the scriptures. Because the Lord has put the Spirit on them to do so, to fulfill prophecy, and to redeem His people, which are the elect of the 12 tribes of Israel. Jeremiah 51:11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Right, the Lord has raised the spirit of these Russians, man, to get ready to go to war against you Americans. For His device against Babylon to destroy it. Right, to destroy Babylon. All right. So the Lord is going to destroy you Americans. All right, by using the Russians to do so. Because it is the vengeance of the Lord. Why is it the vengeance of the Lord? Because what you have done to His people, man. And what you're doing to His planet. And what you're doing, okay, this very day. All right. To this very day of what you're doing. The utmost wickedness that you have been doing. The vengeance of His temple. Right. So this is what's coming to you Americans. So you better get ready. All right. As you can see, these articles are just reestablishing the confirmation of the judgment of Babylon, America. And that's through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because he is raising the spirit of the kings of the Medes. In fact, that'll be the title of this video. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, aka Russia. All right? And Lord willing, this was edifying to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, this was putting fear and trembling to you American peons. Okay? And those that still believe in the American dream. If you're abroad, okay? Because this is a time of prophecy and this is a time of judgment. And with that, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Love you, brothers. Keep up the faith. Keep enduring. As well as you sisters that are watching. Keep watching. Okay? Keep following the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. And watch and pray, because we're in the end times. And this American nightmare is coming to an end. And with that, you know our slogan, 1, 2, 3, death to America. Shalom.